What's up, Collider sports fans? Josh Macuga here with Marc Fernandez. This is your NFL deep dive for Week 9 of the NFL football season. A very topsy-turvy week in the NFL. All kinds of crazy stuff happening. Let's start with the hottest topic of the day, Marc. That's your Miami Dolphins getting their first win of the season. It's a big day. How you feeling? Big Monday, big Tuesday.
Look, man, if the season would have just been yesterday, then a lot of my predictions early on would have been right. Okay,
Which were
the Packers are no good because they looked like they were no good playing the hapless Chargers in a home away game and getting their butts whooped.
True.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I really care about is the Aaron Rodgers going down. But look,
we'll get into that.
But look, the Vikings, who have always been suspect on, right? They got, it was a close game.
Close game, but they lost Thielen in the first quarter, which is real tough. And Stephon Diggs was totally a moot point.
Look, and Andy Reid, you got to give your, tip your hat to him. He's getting Matt Moore to look like a starting quarterback. I mean, he still has that little Matt Moore thing going on, but they won that game.
I agree. Yeah.
They're right in it now. Like, leaves the door open for Pat Mahomes coming in, only 1-on-1 since he was gone. So, we talked a few weeks ago if they could just win 4 games without Mahomes, I wouldn't even bring him back into the playoffs.
Right, but I think they're going to bring him back next week.
I think they're bringing him back next week.
Yeah. All right, so how'd you feel as your Dolphins beat the Jets yesterday? You sent me one of the funniest text responses. Can I say it on the air?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay, so I text Marc yesterday, where should I send the champagne after the Dolphins finally took a game? Which I said I thought they would win 2 games this year after the season, okay? And you said send it to Adam Gase's grave, which is the best. Such a pure thing to say, and like the pure sports fandom of what Adam Gase did to your team, and then somehow got another head coaching job.
The day after.
The day after.
Like, how is that even possible? Sam Darnold, 260 yards, a touchdown, a pick. He looked lost out there. I mean, there was a point in that game where they flashed on Darnold on the sidelines talking to Gase, and this was after they had scored the touchdown.
Right.
So it was 7-0 at this point, and they were looking in the sidelines, and it was Darnold and Gase talking, and Gase and Darnold were having like an argument. Like, you could tell they were arguing with each other. It's like the kid just scored a touchdown. He was probably giving him some crap about who knows what.
Right.
This is your typical guy who picks the wrong things to reinforce to try to become a better leader, a better coach. I mean, like Adam Gase. So, look, by the way, and I have some decent sources on this.
I love your decent sources.
Okay.
They're great.
Because, look, a lot of them come out true.
Yeah, they do. I'm not making a joke.
Yeah.
Because I think you undersell your sources. You're
right.
Like, I got decent sources. It's John Gruden. Like, all right.
Right.
I'll give you, Jesus.
It's not John. It's not John. Look, my sources are hinting at that he will not make it through the week, that Adam Gase might get fired this week.
Really?
If it doesn't – look, this show, we're recording it on Monday because there's some other stuff.
Some meetings tomorrow or something.
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually meeting with the NBA tomorrow about something very exciting.
No shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, something very exciting. But that Adam Gase is going to go maybe as early as today. Okay, wow. Adam Gase is going to go, but I think he actually might go this week. I'm crossing my fingers on that one.
Okay.
And I've also been hearing that Freddie Kitchens might go this week.
Dude, did you listen to that Freddie Kitchens press conference? He sounded like he didn't care about football at all.
No, I didn't.
It was like, I think the question was like, how do you feel about the play calling, like you not making the play calls or something like that? And he was just like, it's out of my hands. Like, I guess I got to kind of go with it. You're the head coach,
right? You were the running backs coach last year.
What, dude? I'm telling you, if you're talking about front office debacles, right? You made 2 huge mistakes in Cleveland this offseason. You brought in another diva wide receiver that you didn't need. You already had too many divas. I thought the OBJ thing was just silly for Cleveland to do. I really did. And you can say
it was indulgent.
It was indulgent.
Yeah.
And you hired Freddie Kitchens when you should have just kept Greg Williams. What do?
Greg Williams might take the Jets job.
See, I'm telling you, they botched it. If Greg Williams had stayed in Cleveland right now, I'd be scared of Cleveland because I guarantee you they at worst would be 500 with Greg Williams.
Right.
I mean,
coach. Myles Garrett has 10 sacks this season.
Yeah.
I don't know how many he got yesterday. I didn't keep up with him, but
he's the best player on the team.
Going into that game, he had 10 sacks.
Yeah.
But look, how did it feel to get a victory? It felt good. I mean, look,
especially against the Jets.
I'm a little bit bummed. I'm a little bit bummed that Rosen is on the bench. Ryan Fitzpatrick is, he's the king of, it's like every single game with Ryan Fitzpatrick is a revenge game. He's played for every single team.
Yeah.
So it's like Fitzpatrick is like the worst kind of Band-Aid a football team can have because he's just a hired gun. You can't really build up team spirit around him.
Can't you, though? He seems like the guys like him.
It seems that the guys like Flores, but I don't know if you saw that Flores locker room speech. It was horrible. The guy's like, and I loved Flores going into the season, but it doesn't seem like he's got that raw stuff that, at least from the outside, feels like it matters. I mean, I sent you that video, or maybe I didn't send you that video, but I think you liked it on Twitter or something. But it was Drew Brees talking to the Purdue.
Oh, yeah, to Purdue.
And it was epic.
Fantastic.
Just like all the messages that Drew Brees is giving those players. Like, if I'm a player, I'm like, yeah, man, I can latch on to that.
Yep.
Like, that makes sense. Like, let me run on that.
True
Flores,
leader.
yeah, Flores' speech was just like, I knew we could do it eventually, and it's, doesn't it feel good, guys, to win? It's like, dude, you're the head, like.
I didn't see it, but it doesn't sound good.
So, look, the upside for me is that Devontae Parker is playing good football at the wide receiver spot. So finally, he looks like
he's a bright spot.
Yeah. Preston Williams left the game with a knee injury. I don't know how he's doing.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But
does anything about either court? Like, do you think that Fitzpatrick or Rosen will be on the team next year?
So look, I'm hoping that we don't get that first pick because every single day it looks like Cincinnati might get that first pick. And I think if Tua is there, Cincinnati is taking Tua.
Yeah. They're just dumb enough to do it.
What I would like to do is either if we're high enough, go for that defensive end out of Ohio State, Chase Young.
He's a badass.
But if Chase Young is not there, like I told you a few shows ago, offensive line.
Yeah,
There's a guy in Georgia who's a beast. There's a guy in Alabama who's a beast. There's a guy in Wisconsin who's a beast. Just trade down, get more assets, and just pick offensive line.
The whole time.
Literally, the entire draft.
Yeah.
Just build up an awesome offensive line. Then next year, with all those picks and all that stuff, maybe don't tank.
Right.
Still go out there and play football because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But you got your eyes on on Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good call. All right, let's talk about the game that I really want to talk about. And I know you want to talk about it.
Okay.
Chargers-Packers.
Oh, okay.
Not
I
my
thought you were
Steelers,
talking about your Steelers because you know what? Let's talk about the Steelers first.
All right, let's talk about the Steelers.
Because I told you this morning, the first thing I said to you when I walked in, it's, are you ready to give your boy Mike Tomlin some love?
No, I'm not. Okay.
To me, he's just become in that top 5 Coach of the Year candidate.
Did you watch the game?
So to be fair, I did not watch the game.
Okay. Mike Tomlin did everything in his power to try and lose that game on Sunday. I'm telling you.
Is it really?
Okay. We let Brian Hoyer look like an all-pro. 3 touchdown passes.
Brian Hoyer,
because Jacoby Brissett went down with an injury.
That's right. Okay? Jacoby went down.
He goes down. The defense, for all of a sudden, we're blitzing the hell out of them. We're getting to the quarterback, and then all of a sudden we drop into a dime defense, and then they start throwing it all over us. I have no idea what the coaching decision was in there. We threw and only ran one play the whole time. It was just dump passes to Jalen Samuels. We didn't use our 3 great – Deontay Johnson, a great rookie year so far for like a rookie receiver that nobody knew about. We're not throwing the ball to Juju Smith-Schuster. We're not throwing the ball to James Washington. We threw it like twice or something to our receivers. It was Jalen Samuels the whole time. All Indianapolis had to do was figure it out. We had no run game. We legitimately had no game plan, it felt like, until the end of the game when Mason Rudolph gives up a safety. We hadn't given up a safety since 2010. We hadn't given up a safety. Okay? We're losing. We score. We're up 26-24. Okay? There's a bogus pass interference call because the ball was uncatchable. We review it. It's clearly a bad pass interference, but the ball was uncatchable, but you can't review an uncatchable ball. So we still challenge it. Lost that one. Next play.
Everybody's losing those.
I know. Okay. Next play, Tomlin tries to challenge a ghost offensive pass interference call instead of challenging that he actually caught the ball in bounds. So we lost 2 challenges in a row. We had 3 timeouts. We lose 2 timeouts. We only have 1 timeout left, and there's only a minute left in the football game. We have to make a stop. I didn't think we would make the stop. I thought they would just go down there and kick a chip shot field goal. They went down there. It was a botched field goal by Adam Vinatieri, and we lucked out not having to worry about the timeouts.
So first of all, that's a very good point.
Okay.
That's a very good point.
We had to rely on a botched field goal.
Yeah, because Adam Vinatieri doesn't miss those.
No.
So you guys kind of lost the game in practice.
Yes.
Like statistically speaking, probability speaking, you were in a position to lose that game.
We should have lost that football game.
Right.
The laces,
Adam Vinatieri goes up there, misses a 40-yarder.
Yeah. They botched it because the laces were in, like Ace Ventura. The laces went the wrong way.
Right.
And Vinatieri, like, chili dipped it and hit his foot before it. And the only thing I can say as a thank you to the terrible grounds crew of Heinz Field is thanks for making our field the worst in football because you can't make any field goals on it. And so I think Adam Vinatieri's foot, like, dipped in and he slipped and he chili dipped it and he duck hooked it and we won 26-24.
How old is Vinatieri nowadays?
42, 43. I think he's as old as...
He's older, dude.
You think he's older?
I think
he
he's
was as old
46.
I thought he was as old as Tom Brady. Hold on, let me look up. How old is...
But you, look, you bring up some good points because now that I'm looking at the stats
46. You're right, 46.
46. So Brian Hoyer.
I know.
Okay, 3 touchdown passes on your ass. Oh, what about my boy Minka? Didn't he have like a big time, like 100-yard?
96-yard pick 6. Let me tell you what. This is the highlight of the season so far. So if you watch this play, it's awesome. Brian Hoyer, he beat Minka on the touchdown before. Minka just was out. He just was out of position.
Minka doesn't have great speed. It's not one of his strong suits.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. He looked like damn Carl Lewis out there in 1984 because he caught the ball at the 4-yard line, and before he was even past the 25, there was nobody in sight.
Damn,
like he was in
6.
When he got to the 50-yard line, there wasn't even another defender. Like there wasn't another Pittsburgh guy behind him to try and block. He was gone. He was gone to the house. It was incredible.
So that was a good move. You're happy about the Minka move,
dude. I think Dave Damashek said it great on Twitter yesterday. He said, I'm still pissed about the Minka Fitzpatrick trade because who knows with that pick if we could have got somebody that was going to be good or bad or we don't even know. Like, because that's what everybody said. I can't believe we gave up a number 1 pick for Minka. He just had a pick 6 and brought us to 500. Without that pick 6, we lose.
You lose. Good for Minka, man. Minka's a good dude.
3 picks in 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
6 picks in the season, I think.
Yeah. Look, first of all, I'm bummed about Jacoby Brissett. I have no idea how serious the injury is.
Supposedly it's a sprained MCL. He's only getting about 2 to 4.
Okay, because when I was watching the Dolphin game, when I'm watching the Dolphin game, for better or worse, I refuse to watch the red zone. Mm-hmm. You know, like some people just watch the red zone and then like they'll get those Dolphin highlights in there. Yeah. I can't do it. I got to watch the game. As painful as it is, I got to sit through the whole freaking game.
I'm with you.
And this Colts game was one of the early games. But when I saw Jacoby Brissett injured, I was like, damn, that sucks, man. I know.
But it's a mild injury. It was like a fluke. His lineman rolled up on him. Got pushed kind of into him. It was a fluke injury. And honestly, man, I would have rather had Jacoby Brissett in there because we were containing him. He wasn't completing anything. And then Brian Hoyer comes in and all of a sudden he looks like Aaron Rodgers.
Right. All right. So now we can talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Now let's talk about it, baby.
Got Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers yesterday looked like a has-been.
You smell that? That's it. That's the smell of a laid egg.
Yeah.
Okay? That was an egg, Marc
He
Fernandez.
laid an egg. 23 of 35, 161 yards and a touchdown. And Aaron Jones, that's the one that really surprises me. He's been their MVP this season, I think. And he only put up 30 yards on 8 carries.
Nothing. They
basically got their asses whooped. Joey Bosa had a coming out party yesterday and just like lit him up. And so did Melvin Ingram.
Melvin Gordon.
Ingram. Ingram, the outside linebacker.
Yeah.
He just kept pressuring.
Oh, man.
Kept hurting him. Did Melvin Gordon do anything? No, he didn't do shit. 29 yards.
Yeah, no.
He's done, too. No, actually, no, that's not true. Gordon had 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he finally had a day yesterday against this vaunted Packers defense.
Yeah, the Packers yesterday looked pretty pedestrian, man.
I got to tell you, good teams, good playoff teams, teams that are supposed to win Super Bowls behind a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. That's the greatest thing to ever throw the football. Win those football games going away.
Yeah.
They should have won that game 38-10. I mean, I think the best game the Steelers had all season was against San Diego. And we smoked them. I mean, we let some garbage points in at the end of the game, whatever the case may be, but we smoked them. The Packers just didn't show up. They got handled yesterday.
All right, let me give you an either or.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers. Let's say that you can switch it up. Okay. I believe Aaron Rodgers came into the league a year or two before Big Ben. Okay, I think it was like a year before Big Ben, or maybe
I always
2.
thought it was a year after Big Ben, or maybe 2 after Big Ben.
Was it after? They came in around similar times. For some reason, I thought the Pack. I thought Big Ben was after, because Big Ben was the Phillip Rivers year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's Big Ben, right. Eli, and Phillip Rivers.
Right. So I actually think you're right. I think Aaron Rodgers came out after that.
Yeah. Because he's 35, Big Ben's 37.
Okay, so 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, if you could have from the start Aaron Rodgers or Big Ben on the Steelers, who do you go for?
Man, that is a really, really hard question. But I think, all like sexual assault things aside, whatever, because I've always had trouble rooting for Ben because of that. I think I'd take Roethlisberger
over Rodgers.
Yeah,
it's a hot take.
I really
like it. That's a hot take.
I think Aaron Rodgers, first of all, he's been hurt way more often than Ben Roethlisberger, at least later in his season. I mean, obviously Roethlisberger's out, but Ben Roethlisberger's never missed a full season, like out for the season. He's missed 3 games at a time or like 2 games at a time. He hasn't. Last year, I think he was healthy the whole season, but that wasn't
his best season. I think statistically
was last year.
Yeah.
I think with the weapons that we had, that's really tough. I think with the offense we run. But here's the thing: is our offensive line wasn't good until the last 4 years. So Ben was always scrambling. Aaron Rodgers is not a very good scrambling quarterback out of that pocket.
Really, people would say that he is actually an extremely mobile, quick guy, kind of like an Alex Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I think I would lean a little more on Ben Roethlisberger simply for the sake that you thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be so good, and maybe it was Mike McCarthy, maybe it was something like that. But year in and year out, Aaron Rodgers was just good enough to get you to that edge. But so was Ben Roethlisberger. I think they're almost the same quarterback, and that's a crazy thing to say. And I'm sure Colin Cowherd just fainted in his car if he would ever listening to this show. But I think they're almost like a pretty similar effing quarterback.
I would say that. God,
Ben's got 2. He's been to 3. Aaron has 1. He's been to 1.
Yeah, I think Ben might be a better deep passer too.
I don't disagree.
Like Ben and those bombs, dude. Like when you get rolling on those bombs, look, it made Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Big Ben and those big bombs.
Yeah. Big Ben and those big bombs.
All right. So you go Big Ben.
Yeah, I go
over
Big
Aaron
Ben.
Rodgers. Put the comments down below. Would you go Big Ben or Aaron Rodgers for the Steelers specifically?
I guarantee you that 100% of the comments are Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yes.
I'm kind of leaning with you on the Big Ben only because you're right. Big Ben has made so many receivers superstars.
Yeah.
Where it's you kind of have that a little bit with Aaron Rodgers, right? Like Greg Jennings, but Greg Jennings was never elevated to the level of even
Antonio
number 10
Brown.
or Santonio Holmes. These guys were seen as the best receivers in the NFL.
Hines Ward was a good blocking receiver until Ben Roethlisberger came to town.
Right. And then he ends up in the Batman movie.
Correct.
So yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning with you on this one.
Okay.
Big Ben over Aaron Rodgers for the Steelers. Put the comments down below. Let's hear it.
All right. Next game. And surprisingly, the train that keeps on rolling straight through San Francisco is the 49ers, basically outlasting the Cardinals. And the Cardinals showing me that they're pretty good.
Cardinals, look, that's another thing that I was kind of wrong about this season. I gave Cliff Kingsbury more shit than probably anybody.
You and me both, brother.
I thought that was one of the worst hires, second only to the Adam Gase hire. I literally had that second to Adam Gase. But look, this guy's got them playing. There was a point in that game where the Cardinals looked like they could win it.
I know.
And Jimmy G, 4 touchdown passes, no picks, 217 yards. Matt Breida had a big game, 78 yards.
Again.
Emmanuel Sanders, who I didn't start in fantasy like a moron.
Huge game.
7 catches, 112 yards, touchdown. George Kittle, 79 yards and a touchdown. I did start him. Deebo Samuel's playing good. These 49ers, the lone undefeated team left in the NFL, were only 1 loss away from cracking open the champagne down in Miami, which I think we're going to do. There's no way San Francisco makes it through undefeated.
I don't think they make it through undefeated. I like this team a lot. I was obviously, just like the rest of the league and the rest of like the prognosticators, we're thinking that San Francisco is probably going to be a 6-10, maybe 7-9 football team, right?
I mean, look, I think you and I, at least I said maybe 8-8 if they were lucky.
Right.
And I was dead ass wrong about that.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
Yeah.
I think them adding Emmanuel Sanders finally adds that one more weapon that Jimmy G needed. Now he's got a bunch of receivers. He's got Matt Breida. He's got an offense, and this defense is just stifling. They constantly get to the quarterback. Constantly get to the quarterback. I am like, I feel like I've gone to the car dealership like 4 times, right? And I love this one car, but there's just like one little thing that's like getting me. Like maybe it's not the color, maybe it's the interior, something that's just like very minuscule. It's not the engine, it's not any of like the main things that get you around in a car. It's like I don't like how that mirror looks or something like that. If they can go in Monday night next week against Seattle, huge division game, Russell Wilson coming off a 5-touchdown game, and beat the Seahawks like pretty handily by like 10 points, maybe 14. I'm all on the Niners train.
What's your Josh Macuga power rankings top 5 in the NFL right now?
Right now, I would have put the Packers at 2 after, but now with this Chargers loss like this, it just knocks them down. And that's I'm going to put the Saints at 1.
Okay.
I'm going to put the Patriots at 2, even though they got handed by the Ravens.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the 49ers at 3.
Okay.
I'm going to put the Ravens at 4, and I'm going to put the Seattle Seahawks at 5.
That's your top 5, huh?
Yeah.
Look, it shows you how much the season has gone on, right? Because that would have never been a top 5, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
No.
Okay, so for me,
What do you got?
I would go number 1 right now in a power ranking thing. I would go Niners.
Okay.
Niners number 1. Number 2, I would go Saints.
Okay.
Number 3, I would go Ravens.
Wow. Okay.
Number 4, I would go Pats.
Okay.
And number 5, I would go Chiefs.
Okay. I want to root for the Chiefs. I want to put. They would be my 6, and probably the Packers at 7. And
right,
maybe
but
Vikings
Chiefs
at
with
8.
Patty Mahomes.
Patty Mahomes. Here's the thing, though: is Pat Mahomes need to see watch what Matt Moore did yesterday. Because Matt Moore stayed in that pocket. He didn't run around. He got rid of the football quick. There weren't a ton of moments right back there that Matt Moore looked like Mahomes did 2 weeks ago, where he was just constantly rushing around and he was just cruising for a bruising, and that's what happened.
Yeah, man. Do you think that there's any chance that this could be it for Patty Mahomes?
No.
Or you think he's coming back strong?
Yeah, he's come back strong.
I mean, there's a part of me that's afraid because the NFL, man, it's.
I know, not for long. It's brutal. I just don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I just hope that he learns a little bit like of the Russell Wilson model. Stay in the pocket a little bit longer. Look for that first check down, then get to that second receiver. If not, get rid of the football, or try and do something so magical where you're constantly, because your offensive line isn't doing you any favors. Matt Moore learned that pretty quick, and I think Andy Reid showed Matt Moore, we got to get rid of the football.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And Matt Moore is a smart quarterback, and I think Pat Mahomes is too.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
All right. Speaking of, we just talked about Chiefs Vikings. Listen, I think with the Vikings, with Adam Thielen going down in the first quarter and them shutting down Stephon Diggs, Kirk Cousins didn't lose in the football game. I think we're almost at the a part of a tunnel where you can sort of see light at the end of the tunnel with Kirk Cousins. I don't know if we'll ever get to that light at the end of the tunnel, but maybe we're as close as we're ever going to get.
I agree. Look, he's looking good. The Vikings almost won that game yesterday.
Yeah.
And they have the leading rusher in the NFL in Dalvin Cook. Look, it's not a team that scares me very much. Like, I'm not seeing the Vikings really making a lot of noise in the postseason. Mm-hmm. Look, I've been wrong about a bunch of stuff this year, so who
Everybody
knows?
has.
But like the Vikings, I mean, Kirk Cousins is not so bad. I think, to his credit, after he got batted down a little bit, beat up a little bit, got a little blood in his mouth from his fellow receivers, he's kind of stepped up to the plate and he's answered the bell. He's answered the call. So good for him.
I'm with you. But that NFC North right now, with the Packers losing to the Chargers, it's obviously still their division. The Vikings losing to the Chiefs hurt, because if the Vikings pull off that win against Kansas City, now they're coming up hard on the Vikings. And the Lions don't look terrible. They don't. It's unfortunate they keep losing football games close like this and on bad penalties. If any team is getting the bad end of the stick on penalty, it's Detroit.
Who did they lose to this weekend? It was they played the Raiders. No.
Yeah, I think so. It was the Raiders. They lost.
It was the Raiders, right?
It was the Raiders. Yeah.
Look, for me, so I'm glad that they lost that one. I'm rooting for Coach, obviously,
of course.
And another one of those lists that you and I always go over is those, who's the Coach of the Year candidates. For me, I think obviously the Coach of the Year so far is Kyle Shanahan. You can't even argue it as much as it pains me to say that.
Yeah.
But I think that there's some people that would put Gruden in that conversation. I mean, even though they're 4-4.
4-4, but listen, the Steelers are 4-4 right now. The Raiders are 4-4 right now. They are still in the playoff hunt. The Bills, I think, probably will come back to earth. I'm not sure. The Texans have the driver's seat in their division. Nick Foles is coming back to the Jaguars. There's still there's so much that can happen in this next 9 weeks in this AFC playoffs, and the Raiders are right in the hunt. And Derek Carr is having the renaissance.
God, there was this one pass he threw to a running back or something. It was like this bomb. There was 3 people crowded around the guy, and the ball went perfectly in this tiny little hole. It was unbelievable. Let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a quarterback controversy in Jacksonville, or is Nick Foles stepping right back into it?
I think Nick Foles steps right back into it. I think they like Gardner Minshew, but he hasn't been 5-0. He hasn't gone Tom Brady numbers. I mean, he got shut out basically in London yesterday. The Texans destroyed.
If Nick Foles can play, he's playing.
Yeah, I think
contract's too big. The opportunity he's.
And this is Nick Foles' time.
Yeah.
Second half of the season in the playoffs. This is when Nick Foles shines.
Yeah. Do you think Nick Foles is going to be on a short leash?
I mean, they don't want to. I mean, that clavicle's no joke.
But what if he comes out there, loses a game, plays okay, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick? 2?
Okay. If he goes terrible in back-to-back games, I think they throw in Minshew.
And then they just call it a bust.
Yeah. And that's happened twice now for Nick Foles. Poor dude.
Yeah.
That Eagles-Bears game, though, speaking of Nick Foles, former team.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I don't know what the story is here because the Eagles clearly aren't very good. They have these flare-ups, a lens flare, a J.J. Abrams lens flare, right?
I don't buy the Eagles.
I don't buy them at all. I don't know if I buy anybody in the NFC East. I think they're all dicey.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Jets can beat the Cowboys,
damn.
You got to beat the Jets. You got to beat the Jets. That should be everybody's thing. Is all right, these are our 5 rules of the season. Okay, 1, you got to beat the Jets. Okay,
if you play the Jets, you got to beat.
You got to beat them.
Yeah.
The Bears, though. I mean, another week of this just Trubisky. It's brutal.
Yeah, man. 10 for 21, 125 yards, no TDs, no picks. But David Montgomery also, he can't run the ball. 40 yards on 14 carries, 3-yard average, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he at least got in the end zone. But, man,
they look confused at best on offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Was this one of those? No, the Houston game. Look, first of all, I'm done with this London crap.
We talked about it last week. I'm so tired of London.
I'm done with it, dude. 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast.
Name me one. I've never met one person. And Ben and I my brother and I went to the London game against the Vikings, I think it was 4 years ago.
Oh, you went to London?
We went to London.
Oh, nice.
It's a disaster. It was nothing. It was a terrible place to watch the game. There was no fanfare.
Was it Wembley Stadium?
Yeah. It was fine. It's set up for soccer. It's not set up for football. They don't. The thing that Europe doesn't get about stadiums is they don't get the jumbotron. They don't get the point of the jumbotron. Right. Literally, you watch the jumbotron and it's a clock on there. Right. It's literally hey, so we put the clock there? Is that what we do?
Right.
Because the stuff that they watch for soccer and stuff it's not as important as the jumbotron in football. I've never met somebody that has liked the London game outside of Roger Goodell and his group of cronies. And the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars because he's from London.
It's just it's one less game on the schedule is the way I look at it. Because Thursday I wasn't a big fan of, but I'm getting into it because they've been booking good games for that.
But it also kind of signals the end of my week. I'm psyched about
Yeah. It's
I got Friday.
Yeah.
I can talk about the NFL game because once college His college always used to have like a good game on Thursday night. Then NFL came in like, we're not putting good games on Thursday night. We're not going to lose to that. We're putting all our good games on Saturday again. And that's a bullyish kind of a thing. But now I'm like, oh, there's a good game on Thursday night. Let me turn it on.
Right. It's like when you're driving home and it's nighttime and there's a game tonight.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, it's Thursday.
Sure.
But tomorrow's Friday.
Sick.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's not bad. But man, these Sunday morning London games.
6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m. I'm out.
People on the East Coast, like when you live on the West Coast and you come from the East Coast, you start getting used to the 10 o'clock kickoff. I love it.
I love the 10 o'clock kickoff.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Right? When you're on the East Coast, you're not used to that. Like, my mom and dad sleep in. They go to church. They read the paper. Steelers come on at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, you watch the game after you come back from church.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't wake up for a 9:30 game in London that's taking away one of the Steelers' home games. It's taking away a Raiders home game. The Raiders haven't been at home since September 15th. And one of those games was a home game in London.
That's crazy,
It's
dude.
brutal. And they're 4-4. Like, a lot's got to be said for John Gruden.
Like, why did they give the Raiders such a shitty deal this year?
I think it's because
they just don't get it. It's just
they're just like, wait till they're in Vegas, then we'll treat them okay again.
Yeah. I actually can't wait till they're in Vegas.
Well, you know why they don't want to give them home games? And the owners have all come out and said this, is they don't want to play on that field while it's a baseball field. So
for injuries.
So once the baseball season's over, we'll put all the Raiders, we'll back end their home games.
Right, which I think I think they do have a home game this week.
And it's a regular.
And it's a brand new field.
Yeah.
We got to go to a fucking Raiders Vegas game next year, dude.
Hell yes. 100% yes.
Dude, that's a party, dude.
Yes.
Any game. It doesn't even matter.
I don't care. And that's the one thing Vegas is doing well, is that when they're getting their franchise, they are loving them. Like, I went to a Knights game last year, the Golden Knights. Dude, it's a Vegas show. They got a knight, and he like slashes the ice, and there's lightning everywhere.
T-Mobile Arena, or they have their own spot?
No, it's T-Mobile. Yeah. It's fantastic. And now they're building a stadium. Guarantee you, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to gamble in the stadium.
It's going to be crazy.
Incredible.
Dude.
The sports book inside the stadium supposedly is going to be unbelievable.
Dude, we got to go.
Yes,
we got to go. We got to like buy the ticket ASAP.
Let's go.
Yeah. We're there.
All right. Speaking of our Raiders, we just talked about that. No, we didn't. Well, yeah. All right. Raiders Lions. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
All right,
it's good stuff, man. We love you, Coach.
This is my favorite game of the weekend.
Okay.
And nobody really gave a shit about it, but I tell you why I loved it.
Okay.
It's because Joe Flacco, he sort of got hurt, but I think he was more of like a healthy get the hell out of town.
I know where you're going with this one. Unbelievable.
The Broncos start a kid that has never started an NFL game.
Yeah.
And he lights up the Browns.
What behind the ears?
Is John Elway going like, could this be my guy? A guy named Brandon Allen that I kind of found working like as a grocery bagger?
Here, spoiler warning. Okay. It's not the guy. It's not the guy. It's like John Elway can't fight a quarterback. You know, it's just like I don't know what it is with him. Him being a great quarterback, but just has no eye for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
This was unbelievable, this game, man. Like, what the hell is wrong with these Cleveland Browns?
Okay. I said it on Sports Time, and it might sound stupid, but I can't trust a man with the last name of Kitchens, especially to call play calls. I just there's something Kitchens.
Right.
I'm not trying to like make fun of his family. Just like give me Freddie Kitchens as like the guy running my craft service.
Right.
I don't trust him there.
Freddie Kitchens could be an offensive line guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hey, Freddie Kitchens. Yeah, he runs the O-line. Not the guy calling my play calls.
Yeah.
And it seems like everything, because of the
He's
hype.
never called plays in his life.
Never in his life. Okay?
I mean, last season a little bit, but like.
You are given the keys to the most hype in the 20 years since Cleveland has come back to Cleveland, right?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, okay? And what you're doing with this whole thing is brutal because you're not giving Baker Mayfield what he needs in his sophomore year for confidence going forward. You had what looked like an incredibly talented quarterback last year when he finally went in the football game. He was like in people's
top 10 list and number 6 and I saw one list that had him as the 6th best quarterback in the NFL.
Gonna have him disagree with you on that one?
Yeah.
But Freddie Kitchens is doing him no favors, right? That going with you got OBJ and Jarvis Landry just out there like complaining about their watches and their shoes and everything in between.
That's
unacceptable.
It's unacceptable, dude.
They're not helping out their star quarterback because they don't care. They don't care. They just want their money. They don't care. You can tell they don't care.
Dude, like, think about the mental state that you have to be in, okay? To go play, to be the Browns when they were 2-4.
Yeah.
Okay, still in it. Playing the Patriots.
Yeah.
The undefeated Patriots, the best team in the NFL. And to have your best player on the team make goat hair sneakers
for the quarterback.
For the quarterback of the other team.
The other team.
And then, like, basically, you know, in his head, he's like, "Oh man, when am I going to give these to Brady? Like, it's going to be a moment. Like, yo." So remember, like in the fourth quarter, I'm going to run up to Brady. I'm going to give him the GOAT sneakers, take some pictures. We're going to be chilling, you know. So like, he's planning this whole thing out before the game starts.
How does Baker Mayfield not feel personally slighted by that?
Oh, did you see that picture?
No.
So there's a picture of Odell giving Brady the sneakers, and Brady just took the sneakers and was like, "Oh, thank you, man, whatever." Like, Brady's a nice guy, but like as he's giving him the sneakers, like Baker Mayfield is in the background, like looking down at the sneakers, like with like a shit look on his face. Ugh. It's kind of like that meme of the guy with two girls,
and looking at the other girl,
but better,
but
better.
Yeah.
I mean, that should almost be the thumbnail for this video.
Totally. Yep. I mean, you saw his post-game press conference. He looked like that private investigator. I said it on Sports Time. He looked like a private investigator who's working in a terrible office, whose wife just left him. He's still rocking the mustache, even though his friends tell him not to. I mean, he had a trench coat on.
Dude, he shaved 3 times yesterday. Dude, in the pregame, he looked different. And then in halftime, he had like a Fu Manchu. And then at the end of the game, he's just got like a little like Errol Flynn.
What is the thoughts of what is happening in that Browns locker room? All this hype, and they're still the Cleveland Browns. But here's the thing: is week in and week out, I think everybody who's playing the Browns, everybody who's watching the Browns, even the people who aren't fans of the Browns are thinking to themselves, is this team going to come around? Because there was so much hype. It's not like the Falcons, they stink. It's not like the Bengals, they stink, right? It's these teams that we knew were going to stink. Everybody still has faith that somehow the Browns are going to come out of nowhere because their defense isn't terrible.
Yeah.
They're not.
Look, it comes down to something that we've talked about a little bit on this show also, is that this is a team sport.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you got guys like LeBron, and look, God bless LeBron. I know he's 5-1, and
they're playing pretty good basketball. Unfortunately,
yeah. You know who else is 5-1? The Miami Heat. Okay, and like they're not going anywhere. So it's the NBA doesn't start until after the Super Bowl. But maybe I shouldn't say that because the Heat do look really good actually. but
I always say it doesn't start until after Christmas Day. Is when the NBA starts for me.
Right, because Christmas you get all those big games. Yeah. That's what for me. It's like it doesn't start
February.
to really. Yeah, like in February you know that every game counts.
Sure,
you know.
I'll give it to you.
But you have LeBron saying that the football players are marginalized and it's not fair because you can't see their faces, and you got these like crystal helmets that he's trying to design or whatever, which is a friggin' joke. But
crystal.
You saw that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but this is what the NFL is, man. It's like, the second you think you're bigger than the team, you end up with crap like Odell Beckham giving goat-haired sneakers to Tom Brady after a game where they get their asses whooped. Yesterday, I mean, like, Odell Beckham was like out by himself on the sideline. Like, they're not calling plays his ways. I mean, he had a decent game. He caught 5 catches for 87 yards. It's not bad.
Sure.
And that's probably not even trying that hard.
Right.
It's like, they're not. Yeah, Freddie Kitchens. Look, I'm hearing this week. Adam Gase, Freddie Kitchens gone.
Wow.
Yeah, and they'll replace Adam Gase with Greg Williams.
That's such a shame because Greg Williams. Watch, he's going to do with Sam Darnold what he did last year.
And Freddie Kitchens, I'm not sure who the hell they would bring in there. But
Hugh Jackson's is back.
Hugh Jackson.
He's back.
Yeah.
All right, let's our final game to talk about here. Then we can do a preview, like a little pick on this Monday night game, and then we'll do some rapid fire.
Yeah.
Obviously the biggest game of the week was the Patriots Ravens last night's game.
I saw the whole thing. Yeah. You watch it?
Yeah. What do you think your biggest takeaway is? Is that the Patriots defense isn't that good, or is Lamar Jackson that's hard to defend, or was it just like a flukish kind of a thing?
My biggest takeaway from that game is, I hope Lamar Jackson can do this for a long time because he'd be the first.
Right.
You have Mike Vick was able to sustain it for 4 seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, this ability where And it's like, let's put all the athletic, mobile quarterback stuff aside because we all know there's been many athletic, mobile quarterbacks.
Who do you think your favorite one of all time is? Are we putting Warren Moon in there? You're putting
Mike Vick's my favorite. Mike Vick's my favorite. But he only did it for a very short amount of time. A very, very close second is Steve Young.
Yeah.
In terms of like all the crazy stuff he was able to do.
Sure.
But Mike Vick's my favorite. Okay. But he was only able to do it for 4 seasons. And there was a shot yesterday of Lamar Jackson being hugged by the backup quarterback of the Ravens, which is RG3.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, there was flashes of RG3 when he was in that rookie season where he looked as good as Lamar Jackson. You know, maybe he hasn't put up those crazy back-to-back-to-back numbers.
Right.
But what scares me the most about Lamar Jackson is that, I mean, look, the kid's big. He's bigger than Michael Vick. He's taller than Michael Vick.
He looks big out there.
Yeah, he might be faster than Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Michael Vick maybe had a better arm, but maybe not, you know?
Lefty's tough.
But dude, this kid is running into linebackers and safeties, helmet down, fucking shoulders down, like, come get some. Like, that you can't sustain that in the NFL, dude. Not if you're a quarterback. Like, this is why running backs only last 2-3 seasons.
Right.
This is why wide receivers, like, you know, only last for a little bit. It's hard to get across that 10,000-yard mark.
I mean, if you're a wide receiver and you're good and you can last 10 seasons in the NFL, it's a huge effing deal.
It's a huge deal, dude. And this kid, it's like,
if you're a running back and you can last 5 years at peak, that's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. Look at guys like Lamar, Sean Alexander.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy.
He was good. He was great.
Yeah, he was great, but he was only great for, what, 2-3 seasons?
But same thing goes for Edgerrin James. I always bring him up on this show.
Right.
Edgerrin James, when he was good, he was fan-friggin-tastic.
2 back-to-back rushing titles.
I know. And then
he went to Arizona and just couldn't do it. It's tough, man.
It's
like
tough.
You got a guy like who was the guy for the Ravens? Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
I mean, that freaking guy was a
stud.
Beast. 2,000 yards rushing in one season.
Doesn't he have the all-time in one game too? Doesn't Jamal Lewis have the all-time?
I think he might have the all-time.
246 or 256.
Something disgusting like that.
Yeah, let me see.
But then you get your ass whooped.
Yeah.
And you can't sustain it.
And that's the thing with Lamar Jackson is, listen, if you can force him to throw, it's going to be a thing. And that's what the Steelers were able to do because our run defense is better, clearly, than the Patriots' run defense. And I don't know, is this a Belichick just swing and a miss? Did he would just not game plan well enough for this?
I think that, I've heard some of the other shows talk about this, that Belichick tried to throw as many looks as possible so that he could get a book on the kid and that he'll be more prepped for him next time, and I actually believe that. But this was just a matter of him getting his ass whooped. I mean, they got their ass whooped.
Yeah.
And after it, when it was 17-0, and that guy muffed the punt and fumbled it, you know, I was like, okay, here comes Brady. You know, it's like Brady drives him right down the field, 17-7.
Yeah.
Then they come back 17-10. Then they come back again, and White misses the end zone by a friggin' inch, you know, and then they kick the field goal. I'm surprised they kicked the field goal. I mean, that's like Brady down the middle all day for that. They could have tied that game. I don't know, man. I think they got their ass kicked. You know, I think at the end of the day they got their ass kicked, and it obviously makes you think, is this the end of Brady? You know, because is he getting old? But
do you think?
Brady, to me,
I think they just became one-dimensional. He just looks like Brady. I think because they were down 17-0, they became one-dimensional. They couldn't run the football as well. And Sony Michel just hasn't run the football well really all season, since maybe week 2. And I don't think Belichick has really put an emphasis on trying to get a running back or running back by committee situation. Yeah. He's putting it all on Brady this year, and I don't think Brady has the weapons to be a one-dimensional offense.
And
Edelman looked tired at the end of the game.
Dude, this is my biggest takeaway of the whole game.
Sorry, just real quick. Adrian Peterson, 296.
Damn.
Jamal Lewis, 295.
Damn, 1 yard. 1 yard. Epic. My biggest takeaway from that game, though, my biggest insight from that game was there was a drive in the third quarter, or maybe it was the fourth quarter, where Brady was just picking apart the defense, but he was only throwing to Edelman. Nobody else was open, or he just didn't trust him. So he was literally going to Edelman every single time, and he was methodically dink and dunking that ball down the field.
Yeah.
And Edelman, to his credit, would just get right back up and say, let's go again.
Right.
And boom, another catch, let's go again. Boom, fumble. And he fumbled the ball, and that's what ended the game. That was the dagger.
Yeah.
Because, like, to your point, he looked like, how can you not be exhausted? I mean, he gets picked up and body slammed.
And he's a small dude.
He did that helicopter one. Like,
yeah.
He was getting his ass kicked.
And why isn't Mohamed Sanu catching those balls on? That's what they brought him in for. I mean, he did have 10 catches.
Yeah,
but not on that drive.
In that drive, it just
Edelman.
Seems. Yeah, which is when push comes to shove, it's Edelman.
And that's where you're missing Rob Gronkowski, right? Because you used to be able to. Rob Gronkowski was the Energizer Bunny. Used to switch off. And when they wanted to throw to Rob Gronkowski on drives, Brady would go 3 straight because he knew Rob Gronkowski could go up and catch it. Take a couple plays off, go to Edelman, but he doesn't have that right now. And he doesn't trust Mohamed Sanu just yet because he doesn't know the offense that well.
And he still caught 10 balls.
I know.
Tom Brady, there's a lot of people say that this is the worst Tom Brady's ever played. Man, if
and
this
they're 8-1.
Yeah.
Fucking
Anyway.
Here we go. All right. Big game tonight in the NFC East. You got the Cowboys versus the Giants. When I say big game, I think the Giants could beat them. What do you want to talk about? What do you got?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Buccaneers, Seahawks? What do you want to talk about?
No. Is it true that there's a little controversy going on with Brady dropping an N-bomb in the...
Yeah, some people thought they heard it, and I watched it live, and I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it.
I mean, I saw a very genuinely tender moment that I thought, like, it kind of got me a little watery.
Yeah.
Where he was like, oh, my God, they brought you here.
They brought my kryptonite.
You know, and, like, that to me was like, man, I love football.
Yeah.
Because
and guess
Reed.
what? Even off the field, Ed Reed was still Tom Brady's kryptonite. He's over there in the sidelines with a Hurricanes jacket. That jacket was sick, right?
Rocking the Hurricanes jacket.
With the cigar in the gloved hand. Just badass.
Killing it. All right.
Do you think? Okay, I'm going to give you.
Was there? So that's a false. Like,
yeah, I couldn't see it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people thought he said it, but I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. Anyway.
It might have been something sound picked up or some word that he might have said. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to give you probably the last 15, 20 years. I'm going to give you Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, John Lynch, Darrell Revis, like when he was at his best. Where do you rank those 4? Because I'm not going to... Obviously, you'd probably pick Ed Reed because he was probably the best of the best.
Revis is the best cover guy out of all of those.
Yeah.
Pure cover guy.
Sure.
But he wasn't a safety.
He wasn't a safety.
All the other guys are safeties.
Yeah. So, well, who were the other safety? What other safety would you throw in there?
So Lynch, Polamalu, Ed Reed. Maybe Brian Dawkins.
Brian Dawkins. Okay. Yeah,
Brian
I'll give you Dawkins.
Or maybe Steve Atwater, even though he's a little older.
Yeah.
He's a little older. But for me, Ed Reed is the best, and I'd probably put Polamalu second.
Okay.
There was a stretch of like 2 or 3 seasons where Polamalu was just in every play.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the thing is Ed Reed was getting so frustrated in the sense that, well, I mean, they don't play against each other. Ed Reed was making all those stops, Ray Lewis, that whole defense, but the Ravens offense couldn't put anything past Troy Polamalu. He had these ridiculous interceptions.
Yeah.
And those Ravens Steeler games back then were like 17-13 knockdown drag out insanity.
Yeah. It was bloody.
Yeah.
It was bloody mess.
All right, so Cowboys Giants. What do you got?
I'm going to go Cowboys. That's an easy one.
Okay.
What's the spread on it?
If I was guessing, I'd say Cowboys 11, maybe 11.5. But for some reason, I think that the Giants are going to show up tonight. I really do. And hold
on, Cowboys Giants.
I'm pulling it up.
We need a producer.
Dallas 6.5. So I was way off.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be double digits to a certain extent.
So even at 6.5, I'd take Dallas.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have a feeling about the Giants tonight. I think they're going to show up.
I hope so, man. Nothing gives me more pleasure in the NFL than watching.
Pleases
Actually, that's not lose. There's a bunch of teams that I love watching lose in the NFL.
Yeah.
All right. Who are these? Who are your top 5 teams that you love to watch lose?
Okay. Well, let's go back to rule number 1. You have to beat the Jets. Okay. I love seeing the Jets lose.
All right.
Okay. Then I'll take the other 3 teams in my division, and it will start with Baltimore, obviously. Then it'll go Cleveland, and then you feel bad for Cincinnati because they pretty much stink year in and year out. But I'll give you those 3. But that would be like when you say what's your favorite movies. I put all 3 Indiana Joneses in one. Okay, so do that.
Right.
I love watching the Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love watching the Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
I love watching. This year, put aside, because I'm really loving Gruden, but I love watching the Raiders lose.
Right, because you guys have history.
Yeah, I love watching the Raiders lose. And those would probably be my
Not
4.
the Pats? I'm surprised the Pats aren't in there because I know you're not a big Brady guy.
You know, the hard part for me is, yes, I love seeing the Patriots lose. I respect Tom Brady. I really do. I mean, I'm jealous of the guy's career. I'm jealous of what he's been able to do in New England. And I love rooting against the Patriots. I love seeing them lose. But for me, like, I think my fandom started for football and, like in 88, 89, and the Patriots stunk. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't start winning, and then they were a Cinderella story at first in the early 2000s. And they always beat the Steelers, but I can't hate the Patriots. I can hate like the Boston sports fan.
Right,
it's hard for me to hate a super winning franchise.
It's easier to hate Belichick than it is to hate Brady.
Totally.
Brady's just like this guy who just seems like he's just like
he does his
Tom
thing.
Terrific.
Yep, exactly. Like he's a nice guy, throws footballs.
Yeah.
And that he marries a model and he's got nice kids and whatever.
Yeah. So for me, definitely.
But that's different because it's your division.
It's my division. So. The Jets, #1 team. I just love to fucking watch.
You
lose.
and I are on the same page. Love watching the Jets lose.
Yeah, love watching the Jets lose. I'd probably put the Cowboys second.
Yeah.
I cannot stand the Cowboys because they get so much national TV attention.
It's the worst.
Dolphins can't buy a fucking primetime game.
No.
And it's just the Cowboys are like in every other one.
All the effing time.
Even if they were just with the stinking Romo Cowboys that I never thought were that good.
Never.
Every single nationally broadcast game, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman doing God, it just
exhausting. Exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Did I tell you somebody, because it seems like every time the Steelers have a national game on the West Coast, if they don't, I have to go to Barney's and sit in silence and like listen to a radio broadcast, right?
Right.
We always get Dan Fouts and Ian Eagle, and somebody's like, my cousin texts me, it's like, the beard and the bird got him again. I was like, that's pretty funny. I never heard that before.
Yeah. So
Cowboys 2.
Cowboys 2. I'd probably throw. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in there. They always,
just recently.
Yeah, just recently. Just annoy the shit out of me. I love watching Belichick lose.
Yeah.
I loved watching Belichick lose. And I really enjoy, for some reason, watching these damn Broncos lose.
This season? Or just since Elway took over?
Yeah, pretty much since Elway took over. Okay. Like No, you know what? I'm sorry. Not the Broncos. Of course, the Patriots. I'm just thinking about that game that the Broncos beat the Patriots like 3 seasons ago.
In the AFC Championship game with Peyton.
Yeah, but there's something I can't stand about the Broncos too, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if because we've played them so many times in either AFC Championship games or listen.
The Broncos.
And you can say all you want. I know you're a huge Tomlin supporter. You have always been a Tomlin apologist. I'll give you that much, right?
I am a Tomlin apologist.
When it boils down to it, at the end of the day, the one thing I can hang on Tomlin is that we lost to Tim Tebow in a playoff game.
Yeah. That's rough.
We lost to him in a playoff game.
This might bake your noodle. I think I have Mike Tomlin right now as maybe the 3rd or 4th best coach in the NFL.
Silly.
Like literally that high.
He hasn't won a challenge
ever
since before I was married.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Let's do some rapid fire. All right. These are just going to be either ors this week because we're pre-recording this on Monday. This is going to go up on Tuesday. That's why we had to do a Monday night pick. I didn't have enough time to write a rundown, so these are just going to be either ors.
No worries.
Rapid fires. Here we go. Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater.
Jimmy G.
Zeke, Todd Gurley.
Hold on. What about you?
I'm going to take Teddy Bridgewater.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really?
After what he did in New Orleans, I really
over
like
Jimmy
it.
G?
Right? I want to see a full body of work from Jimmy G. I want to see Jimmy G go to the playoffs and you're like, well, Josh, Teddy Bridgewater hasn't done anything either. He's just shown me more.
Okay. It's your team.
Yeah. Zeke or Gurley?
Zeke.
Yeah, me Zeke all day. 49ers, and this is just this season right now. 49ers or Saints?
You know what? I'm going to go Saints here.
Okay.
I'm going to go Saints here.
I'm going to take the 49ers.
Fuck, me too. I'm going to waffle. Sorry, the comments are going to hate me on it. But you're right. The Niners just look better.
They look better.
I have
the
Niners as my #1 team in the power rankings. They just look better.
And here's the thing: is I said Saints for my #1 in the power rankings, but I think I might take a 49ers over. I'm an idiot.
This is why you tune in. This is why you tune in to the deep dive.
The hot takes over here. Nothing but consistency. Yeah. Nothing but the
shit. Yeah.
That's so funny. All right, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr.
Deshaun Watson all day.
Derek Carr all day. I am on the car. Put me on the car. Put me in the back seat.
Wagon,
I'm back in there. It's the old station wagon. It's the family truckster.
Wow.
Right. 49ers or Packers?
49ers.
49ers. 49ers Patriots.
If they were to play head-to-head right now, right today, like tomorrow is the Niners-Pats.
Right. Short week.
I think the Pats win.
Okay. I'm gonna take Pats too.
Yeah.
How about 49ers Ravens? I did the same thing on Sports Time this week.
Damn, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go Ravens.
Okay, I'm gonna take the 49ers simply because I think their defense forces Lamar to throw.
It's a tough game. Tough game.
Okay, Brandon Allen, Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Okay.
Brandon Allen. I mean, this guy's. You just say, come on.
Guess what? I'm jumping on the Brandon Allen train.
Are you? You're on the Brandon Allen.
Broncos all the way. No, I think I'm going to take Kyle Allen too. I think he's a little more. I mean, a little more of a body of work at best. All right, Eagles, Steelers. Right now, who would you pick?
Eagles.
Okay. Russell. I mean, obviously, I'm going to take Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that an emotional pick or is that a?
No, I think they're better than the Eagles right now.
Okay.
I do. And I think that Deshaun's out for the rest of the season. They say 6 to 8, but that's pretty much the rest of the season. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Right now.
Right now. I would take Pat Mahomes.
Man,
but
after this,
that's an emotional pick.
Okay.
Because Pat Mahomes, like this, he's been my favorite player pretty much since he came into the league. I've been on the Mahomes bandwagon pre-50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
I like Pat Mahomes a lot. I love his attitude. I think Russell Wilson's a way more mature quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think that Mahomes has all the tools to become something much more special than Russ. Even though Russell Wilson, you can make a pretty good argument that he's starting to creep into that Hall of Fame.
First ballot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd give it to
been
first
to
ballot yet.
Won one. Should have won 2.
I think quarterbacks have it a lot easier than every other position.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of receivers that have had great seasons. This guy from the Rams, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. These are guys that had monster seasons that, relatively speaking, are probably more impressive than what Russ has done.
Yeah.
And these are guys that will never get into the Hall.
No. They'll always, All right, and finally, Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott?
Saquon.
Okay.
Even that's a close one.
Yeah.
But I'd gamble on Saquon because there's something about Saquon's character
that you like more than Zeke.
That I like more than Zeke.
I'll take Saquon too. I mean, that's my emotional Penn State pick. And I would right now I'd take Russell Wilson over Pat Mahomes simply because I like the track record of Russell Wilson. I trust him down the stretch. I trust him more in a playoff game.
All right. So the only thing we haven't done that's been a tradition for ours is this our last show?
This is our last show.
Jesus.
Well, it depends on my schedule. But if I'm here on a Tuesday, I'll text you in the morning. I'll come on the deep dive.
So it's your last show for a minute.
For a minute, yeah.
For a minute. All right. So our MVP race. We didn't talk about that.
You're right. Now, I said last week it was like I was maybe gonna leapfrog Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson. Right now, I think it's between Russell Wilson and Christian McCaffrey. Did you see what Christian McCaffrey did yesterday?
Yeah, he's a beast.
Run CMC. Unbelievable. Well, who would you take? Maybe that. Who would you take between Saquon, Zeke, or Christian McCaffrey?
Saquon, Zeke, Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Saquon.
Okay.
The upside is just too incredible, but
I think I might
CMC might be second.
Yeah, I think I might take McCaffrey, then Saquon, then Zeke.
So
okay.
Run CMC number one.
So right now I'm giving you Russell Wilson. My second is going to be Christian McCaffrey, and my third, sneaking up here, is it's really hard to go against what Jimmy Garoppolo's doing. And
damn, in your MVP race?
I mean, he's 9-0 as a starting quarterback.
He threw four touchdowns.
He did.
All right, so then my MVP rate is going to be a little bit of a hot take.
Okay.
If I had a vote and I was voting today,
okay,
I would vote for MVP Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson would be my number one vote.
Wow.
I mean, if you look at the NFL up to this date, who is the best player in the NFL?
Yeah. I can't believe I just put Jimmy G as third in my MVP race and I chose Teddy Bridgewater over him. That's my last episode of the Deep Dive.
Right.
You guys can crush me in the comments later. Dude, I love doing the show with you. If I'm in LA, I'm on the show with you.
All right, perfect.
Next week I'm definitely gone, but maybe the week after I'm not.
Yeah, man. Look,
again, my schedule's like week to week.
Look, and I know we haven't, we didn't do a thing on Collider Live or whatever, and like we have a very limited audience on this show, but it's a good audience.
Oh yeah.
I love having you here. This is your home. Whenever you want to be here, this is your home.
Thanks, man.
As long as I'm here, you have a home here.
Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah.
And look, I think you're gonna kill it on this show. I think it's gonna be fucking great. Hopefully, it gets picked up, for multiple seasons. Mm-hmm. But when you're in LA, dude, like, swing by.
I'm here. Yeah. Love it, dude.
And that's how you got it.
Hell yeah. I'm Josh Macuga at Josh Macuga. That's Marc Fernandez at Marc Fernandez. We're the NFL Deep Dive. I believe Rocco will be joining you in my stead.
Yeah. Rocco will be here. We might get Cody in here a little bit too.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You guys can check out all the awesome stuff here on Collider Sports. Collider Sports Time every Monday live. Everything on Collider Video from Collider Live to Collider Heroes Rumor Mill live every single Wednesday. And this will be my last Rumor Mill for a second. And we will announce who the host is on Wednesday during the show of Rumor Mill. So thank you guys for joining us every week on the Deep Dive. It's really been my pleasure to be here. And hopefully this isn't my last one of the season, and I don't think it will be. So we'll see you next time on the Deep Dive.